Good afternoon and welcome to GCMX News, coming to you live from our studio in GCMX Africa, Kano, Nigeria. Today, Tuesday, being the 20th January 2026, which is equivalent to 1st Sha'ban 1447 after Hijrah. I am Hamza Dauda Adamu with the news. First, the news headlines. Governor Yusuf firms up APC defection plan following 3-hour villa meeting with Tinubu. Father of prime suspect in Kano family massacre calls for son's speedy execution. Operation Hadinkai troops dismantle terrorist camp in Borno, repel drone attacks. National Orientation Agency boss urge National Assembly to criminalize fuel scooping. And now the news in details. Indications have emerged that Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf is set to defect from the new Nigerian People's Party (NNPP) to the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC). This followed a closed-door meeting between President Tinubu and the governor at the presidential villa Abuja. Multiple sources familiar with the meeting say lingering political concern that had laid delay the governor's plan defected were resolved, paving the way for a formal announcement expected within days. However, the development comes amid week of intense political speculation in Kano State, where Governor Yusuf reported intention to join the APC has dominated public discourse and strained his relationship with former governor and NNPP national leader Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. Meanwhile, sources say the governor's hesitation was linked to uncertainty over his political future within the APC, including assurance on his 2027 re-election bid, the survival of political structure, and the security of his supporters within the ruling party. Also, these concerned insiders revealed were addressing the meeting with President Tinubu. The meeting reportedly lasts about 3 hours. Governor Yusuf arrived at the presidential villa around 4 p.m., dressed with a white gown with a red cap, and departed shortly after 7 p.m. Troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast under Operation Hadinkai have cleared several Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorist camps in Timbuktu Triangle area of Borno State. The military also repelled coordinated drone attack launched by the terrorists during the operation. In a statement by the media information officer of the Joint Task Force, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, said many terrorists were killed, while others escaped with gunshot wounds. However, he disclosed that the intelligence-led operation was carried out in locations include Chilaria, Garin Farouk, and Abirma, where troops recovered arms, ammunition, and other logistical items. According to him, the operation was supported by the air component of Operation Hadinkai, which provided sustained intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance throughout the mission. Meanwhile, items recovered include boyfriend radios, AK-47 magazines, 7.62 and 12.7mm ammunition, Boko Haram and ISWAP flags, medical supplies, diesel-powered grinding machine, large quantities of grains, and a pickup truck, underground storage facilities, as well as petroleum and oil lubricants. Lieutenant Colonel Uba also added that troops came under armed drone attack around midday and later in the evening, but maintained pressure on the terrorists, forcing them to withdraw. The father of Umar Awolu, the prime suspect in the murder of a housewife and 6 children in Doreyi Chiranchi Quarters, Kano, has called for a speedy trial of his son and all other involved in the crime. Speaking in a viral video recorded in Kano, Malam Awal, who appeared visibly distressed, said he will not attend the court proceeding unless formally summoned, insisting there was no justification for a prolonged trial given the gravity of the offense. Malam Awal said neither he nor the suspect mother will be present in the court unless required, adding that his son should not continue to remain in prison at political expense after committing such a heinous act. However, he argued that justice should be swift, stressing that the victim included his sister, her children, his wife's sister, and her co-wife. Meanwhile, the Kano State Police Command had earlier announced the arrest of 3 principal suspects in connection with the Dorei killings, which they include Umar Awolu of 23-year-old of Sabuwar Gandu quarters is Yaku Yakubu, also known as Chebe, 40 years, from Sagaigi quarters, and Yakubu Abdul Aziz, popularly called Wawo, of 21 years, of Sabongida Sharada quarters. Also, the police further disclosed that Umar Awolu, alleged to be the leader of the syndicate and a nephew of the deceased housewife, confessing during the interrogation. He also reportedly admitted that the same group carried out the other violent attack in recent times, including the killing and burning of two housewives in Tudunyola area of Kano. You are still watching to GCMX News Africa. Stay tuned as we come back shortly. Welcome back. The Kano State Hisba Board has shut down several shops suspected of engaging in illicit activities, including gambling and prostitution at Wambai Garage in Kano. Correspondent Umar Abdullahi reports that the raid was conducted jointly by the area commander of the Hisba, led by Malam Musbahu Muhammad Fada, and municipal local government commander led by Hamidan Tanko. The board said the shop had continued illegal activities despite repeated warning, prompting immediate closure. However, they assured that efforts to curb reckless behavior in the area and across Kano State will continue. Meanwhile, reports indicate that such activities have been ongoing in the market for some time, leading the Hisba board to take decisive action. The Director General of the National Orientation Agency, NOWA, Malan Lare Isa Onilu, has condemned in the strongest term the dangerous and irresponsible act of scooping fuel from a fallen tanker, as witnessed on Monday, 20th January at the Liverpool Bridge in the Apapa area of Lagos State. Consequently, he called on the National Assembly to urgently initiate and enact comprehensive legislation that will expressly criminalize fuel scooping from falling tankers, with firm, clear and deterrent penalties for offenders. According to him, sustained public enlightenment must now be complemented by strong legal and enforcement frameworks to decisively end the deadly behavior. However, in a statement issued to journalists on Monday in Abuja, Isa Onilu described the practice as commendable and completely unacceptable in a modern society, warning that it poses an extreme and unavoidable threat to human life, public safety and national infrastructure. According to him, the risks involved are not limited to those directly engaged in the act, as motorists, nearby communities, emergency responders and critical national assets are equally exposed to grave danger. Now we move to the foreign news. On foreign news, you'll have that authorities said at least 150 people have died across the southern African countries. In Mozambique, more than 110 people have lost their lives since early October, the start of the rainy season, with 13 deaths reported in the past week alone. Large areas of the country remain submerged, forcing President Daniel Chapo to cancel his trip to the World Economic Forum in Davos as rescue operations continue. However, rivers have burst their banks, engulfing entire neighborhoods and displacing thousands of residents. Meanwhile, in one harrowing case, a woman was forced to give birth on a rooftop while sheltering from the flood waters. Social media images shows muddy water sweeping through the city of Zaizai, around 200 kilometers northeast of the capital Maputo in the Limpopo River Basin. Also, in South Africa, officials said the death toll has risen to 38 in the northeastern province of Limpopo and Mpumalanga, which border Mozambique, after weeks of relentless rain. The South African Defense Force has deployed a search and rescue team, including a helicopter, to assist Mozambique emergency efforts. Likewise, UNICEF reports that over 432,000 people have been affected by the floods in Mozambique, with more than 49,000 evacuated to emergency accommodation centers. To end the news, a recap of the major item. You have heard that Governor Yusuf farms up APC defection plans following 3 hours villa meeting with President Tinubu. You also had that father of prime suspect in Kano family massacre calls for son's speedy execution. Also, you had that Operation Hadinkai troops dismantle terrorist camp in Borno, repel drone attack. You also had that National Orientation Agency boss urged National Assembly to criminalize fuel scoping. This news comes to you live from our studio at GCMX Africa, Kano, Nigeria. You can also follow us through our social media handles at GCMX Africa or through our streaming platform at GCMX On Streaming or through our radio garden at GCMX Radio Garden. Once again, I'm Hamza Dauda Adamu saying goodbye for now.